I think y'all are in, ain't y'all?
Okay, we're live.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Sheila, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
I can't unmute me. Good afternoon. Welcome to the City of Arts Virtual Music Symposium. This symposium is brought to you by LEAP, Linking Everyday Extraordinary People. In the Key of G, Everett's Natural Beauty School and Salon. Hug Detroit Day. Aduni's Event Planning Bootcamp Academy. And in Bayou, it's not business as usual. Our topics today are music, the purpose of and effects of music, the education of music, and the healing power of music. Your professional panelists are Liz Laren, Butter Hawkins, Sawande Kieta, Samuel Ray Smith, and your moderator is Makita Taylor, also known as At Peace. So sit back, relax, learn, and enjoy. At Peace, it's all yours.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to City of Arts. This is day 3, if I'm not mistaken, Sunday, Monday, and today. And today we have a wonderful, wonderful panel of artists right here from the city of Detroit who have been in their art for quite some time and are here to share with you the effects and the purpose of art and how it is affected in healing and how it affects us in education. It's just a broad conversation that we're going to have. Basically, I like to think of it as how does art affect the individual? Because education and healing to me are so important and synonymous with loving self, with self-love and self-care, which we all need right now these days. So without any further ado, we're going to take a moment to just check in with ourselves, because I am, among other things, a meditation coach, and we'll get off into my background later on. But for right now, I'm a meditation coach. I am your personal guide to your happy place, okay? So before we get started, let's just take a moment and let's just check in with ourselves, right? Let's just check in with where we are in this moment. You know, you don't have to do anything special or out of the ordinary, just to have a meditative moment. So that's what we're going to do just for a moment. So as we sit here, there's Sheila's beautiful face. I see Sawande and Butter. Liz is here. And we're just going to take a moment and just take in exactly that. We're going to take in the moment. All right. We're going to allow our thoughts to pass like clouds in the sky. We're not going to worry about if it's right or wrong or good or bad. We're just going to allow this moment just to be this moment. Right. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to have my little friend hear the chime, and I'm going to hit the chime. And we're just going to clear some energy for a moment. And when I hit the chime again, then that meditative moment will be over. But just for now, take in the sounds around you, including the sound of my voice. Feel the breath going in your nose and out your mouth. Feel what that feels like to breathe. And then become aware of what you're looking at. You can close your eyes and look within, or you can look around you. What's catching your eye? What's catching your sight? Just take it in. No judgment. Just let it be. And now I want you to take a moment. We're going to inhale through our nose, exhale out our mouths. And on that exhale, I want you to just kind of step away a little bit from your thoughts. And I want you to just look at what you're thinking about for a moment. I know it's kind of weird to think about that way, but it actually works. So just take a moment and ask yourself on this next exhale, what am I thinking about? Right? So let's inhale through our nose. Exhale out our mouths and ask yourself the question, what am I thinking about? So as you take the sounds in one more time and you take the sights in one final time in this meditative moment, I want you to do one more thing. I want you to ask yourself, how do I feel? Ooh, we don't always do that. We don't always care how we feel. How do I feel in this moment? There's no right or wrong answer. Just check in. The moment is done. Welcome back to this crazy reality. That's all it takes to step out of this reality and into a new one. And that's what I love about being an artist, because we can step in and out of certain realities, of certain, frequencies, if you will. And so we took ourselves to a higher frequency just in that moment with just stopping and consciously deciding that this is what we're going to do. And so I love doing that, as well as I'm sure each one of you love doing what you do. And we're about to get into it right now. I can't wait. So without any further ado, when I call your name, you're going to step up to the mic and you are going to share your personal story. You have a few moments. I'll keep the time. That chime, you're going to hear it often because that's how I'm going to help keep the time. So when you hear it in the background, just go ahead and know that it's time to wrap up, and we'll move on to the next person. All right. As we're moving forward with the questions, everyone is welcome to answer the questions. I will be keeping the time. If I have an opportunity for all four of you to answer, then great. But otherwise, we're going to keep it at two people per question, 2 responses per question. Okay. And I'll keep the time on that. So don't worry about that. Just allow your answers to flow and give the people what they want and what they came for. Okay. So without any further ado, I am so interested to find out about each and every one of you. Some of you, or at least one of you for certain, I know already for sure. I do a lot of work with him, or I have worked with him in the past. He's worked with my children before, so I can't wait to get to him. But before I get to him, I got to get to this other individual. Name is so interesting to me. I can't wait to find out more. Butter. Butter. Butter Hawkins. I love the name. You can't forget it. And I slipped up and I caught myself calling you Butter. Butter. It just rolled off the tongue a little different. Butter. right? But please introduce yourself. Tell us what you're all about, and tell us, please, how did you get the name Butter Hawkins?
Oh wow, how did I get the name Butter Hawkins? That's like one of those old school grandma stories. So anyway, I was people always say, oh, they must call you Butter because you're smooth on drums. And I wish that was the truth, but that is not the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, they call me Butter because I was a fat butterball baby. That's why they call me Butter. It actually was Butterball, it was buttermilk, and then it just kind of evolved into just butter. And it stuck because as I went through school, my folks, my grandmother and my auntie had one of the first Black drum and bugle corps in Detroit. It was called the Detroit Thunderbirds, which originated sometime in the late 40s. So anyway, it just so happened my school teachers, the band teacher, all kinds of folks participated in my aunt's drum corps. So when I got to school, they knew me as, hey, there's Lil Butter, even though my name is Twan, right, everyone. So it just kind of stuck all through school, high school, and everything. So.
That is awesome. That is, I never would have known that because yes, I thought it was about your playing. Okay. No. That is so interesting. Well, what else would you like the people to know about you? Please tell us about your art, about your work. Where can we find you? Tell us more.
Multiple me, so I'll just keep it simple.
Okay.
That's the title of my book, by the way, coming up soon. Multiple me, right? Anyway. So anyway, what am I doing now? I'm doing a lot now, but since the world has opened up, right? Music is starting back, and so I've been getting quite a few phone calls. Like on these last 2-3 weeks, I just had a couple guys just fill up my whole summer, pretty much. Just so I'm almost performing every Thursday, Friday. It may be every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So yeah, but anyway, I'm booked already. So which is a good thing, right? Right. But at the meantime, I've got COVID fever. Huh?
We can't call you?
I mean, it depends, you know, sometimes, hey, guys, I got a better thing going on over here. I'd rather play with them than with you. However it is. But anyway, so where was I? I was rambling.
So what you've been doing since the world has opened?
Oh, yeah. So I got filled up. So my dilemma now is that I've been so comfortable on COVID. You know, I've been doing other things for income, which is, you know, it's been doing well for me. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing these things. But obviously I'm a musician at heart. So when the opportunity to play comes, it's like calls me, right? You could be asleep and that thing will wake you up like, oh, you got to come play like right now, right?
Right.
So I thought I was going to be like a little more turning down stuff. Like, nah, I'm good. Life is great. But I miss playing so much. I can't turn down anything but my collar at this point.
That is awesome. Do you have any, first of all, I want to ask, what type of drummer are you? So the people know. What type of drummer are you?
I like to think of myself as a drummer. I don't like to play like just R&Bs. I'll just put it this way. Anything that I do repetitively, if I do it more than twice a week, I'm going to be bored.
Okay.
So I like playing R&B, I like playing jazz, I like playing reggae, I like playing world music, whether it be you know, African world or Arabic world or whatever. I just like I like to see myself as just more of a complete drummer and not in a category, this type or that type.
Okay, you know what I mean? Very nice.
Because I actually listen to everything. There is nothing I don't listen to. So
okay.
Yeah, my kids even tell you like, Dad, like I listen to rock, you know, because I play rock too. So it just depends on what's going on at the time.
Gotcha. So where can we find you? Where's this gig that we?
And what the environment calls for. So it doesn't. Well, right now I'm currently Birch is open up, so I'm there Fridays. Oftentimes, I play at a place called Stoney Creek Roadhouse in Shelby Township. There's some other venues that open up. They told me not to say anything until we got it, right? So I was over there looking at the drums and all that kind of stuff, making sure things were okay. So I can't announce that place. And then I play in church every Sunday. Yesterday I was, not yesterday, day before yesterday, I was church hopping. I played at 2 different churches. I haven't done that. Right. I hadn't done that in like years, right? I used to play at 3 churches every Sunday and a casino, right? So there's like 4 gigs in one day, like literally every Sunday for 2 years I did that. So not doing that now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to get my feel back, I guess. You know what I mean? Just trying to balance it all out.
Well, we cannot wait to see you play. I would love to come out and check out some of your work. So definitely keep us posted. And hopefully this conversation will warm you up and get you, you know, ready for those gigs, because it sounds like you're gonna be busy.
Right.
Well, we're gonna keep the drum rolling with one of my favorite drummers. This brother has been out in the community for quite some time. He does specialize in his drum, which I must say he's an awesome master at it. And it brings such a rich culture to our city. It brings such a rich culture to children, especially. I know it's been blessing my children for years, his work. And so without any further ado, I want to introduce to you, I'm not going to even try to say your last name because I never do, and I'm not even going to try it, but I don't have to, because you are so infamous in the city that you are known by simply Sawande. So, Sawande, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you're all about.
Peace, love. Hey, hi everybody. How's it going?
Great.
Is it clear and concise?
Yep.
Awesome, okay. Man. Before I start, can I say something briefly?
Sure.
Before I talk about me, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for this opportunity. The wonderful text messages I've received prior to this meeting. And I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share my talent. And there's this really amazing drummer. He's a pretty phenomenal guy. His name is Butter Hawkins.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. I just want to say, because he's someone that I know personally, right? Someone and things that I've got a chance to be around him. That guy is an amazing guy. I just wanted to shout him out. You know, brothers showing other brothers love. Like, that guy is a pretty phenomenal dude. This brother works out. This brother does martial arts. He drums.
Ooh.
He does a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, doesn't sure.
And I appreciate him.
Some other things too. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Shouts out to Butter Hawkins, man. And he's pretty darn dope on drums. If I do say myself, how do I
know, right?
I bet.
That's how I know. Yeah,
all
man.
Those genres.
Bro. Yeah.
Hey, I need a bro hug right now. I feel so emotional.
Straight Zoom hug.
Look at this awesome environment, Makita, you created, opening us up with that.
Yeah.
This is love, man. This is awesome.
So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that because you brought my brothers for me to actually see them in this capacity, and it's a wonderful, along with the other amazing artists on this panel. You know, I'm grateful for the opportunity. So thank you. So that being said, I play an instrument called the djembe, Western African instrument that is specifically shared by five other African countries. So Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Sierra Leone are 4 countries that share the djembe in West Africa. I would be remiss not to in the work of my beloved father. His name was King Sunjata Keita. And during his lifetime in 45 years, I'm finding out more and more every day as I get older that he did what some people hope to achieve in 100 years in 45 years. So he was one of the first people to bring the djembe to the city of Detroit, right? Wow. In the early 70s, from my understanding, Black people were coming into a more social conscious of who we are. And we were looking more into the ways of our ancestors. And we were developing more of a consciousness behind obviously our ancestors, where we come from, and our relationship and our rapport today. So my father is extremely iconic with the djembe in particular, the djembe and many other things too. But the djembe in particular, or the djembe and many other things. I'm gonna just speak on the djembe because there's other things that I've been finding out that he's been very influential in. He brought the djembe, and it was the first. He was one of the first people to bring it, and so that kind of set a whole cultural presence and a cultural wave of people learning in the Midwest. So I'll just say from like 1979 to his transition in 2005, which was about 45 years, he did 100 years worth of work because, in my opinion, he would have changed the trajectory and how people play the instrument. He's one of the first teachers, right? Before we had CDs and apps and tapes, and he was one of the first people to fix a djembe, rope a djembe, teach people how to repair a djembe, teach people how to sing the songs to the djembe dance. Also taught dance too. You know, my father owned an African restaurant too. There's a lot of things he did, but he was definitely a cultural iconic person in the city of Detroit, and as I found out, more internationally. You know, so I'd be remiss to say that my master teacher, my father, was the first person to instill that instrument. And at birth, from my understanding, this is a true story. Shout out to my mama for having me and pursuing Kahimba Faith. My mom's story and my father's story are slightly different versions, but they're pretty the same. In that the story is basically at about age 2, I always tell people that I was married to the drum, right? I was married to it. Like at birth, I didn't have a choice whether or not I would drum or not. I was going to drum or I was going to drum, you know? So it wasn't enough. So at age 2, my father brought my djembe to the hospital when I was born, November 21st, 19.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
you're drumming,
right.
buddy.
So I have that drum, like literally, I literally have that drum right now. So fast forward years later, there's a drum that he, I want to say, I guess my baby crib, you know, but I was 2. So I was getting ready, you know, to start walking. And so he tied the drum to my waist, right? I'm about 2, right? My mom was like, hold up, you know, to my baby waist. No, that's not what she said. I'm just kidding. She's like, okay, where are we going with this, baby? You know, so, you know, so he was like, no, he's going to stay and he's going to walk with, he's going to drum. You know, and one day he would carry the, you know, the K to legacy in terms of drumming. And, you know, 16 years later after his transition, he was absolutely correct. So with that said, that's how I grew up in a very Afrocentric, very cultural, Afrocentric, culturally conscious family. And my mother and father, my father taught African drum, my mom taught African dance. So like, you know, some kids grew up with a computer, you know, I grew up with a drum. You know, and so that's what I saw on a regular basis. But it's the family way in which we make money. And I have other family members. I have sisters. I'm super artsy in the family, so I just decided to just be an artist, you know, exclusively. And so that's why so many people know that I play the djembe. But I had to say, the greatness that people know about me, I would be no greater than the father who gave me my style, my mother who gave me my style. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to mention my mother, I had to mention my father, because they are extremely pivotal in my upbringing to even share anything on this platform. I can't mention Sundiata and not mention Kahimba and not mention Sundiata, you know? So shout out to my parents, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Life, you know, shout out to my mama, because she here in this physical life with me still, helping progress as my father watch over me, you know, on the side. So yeah, that's my story. That's how I got to play the djembe. And again, my parents were influential. So my father took me to play on a lot of big wig gigs. He played with a lot of phenomenal people. I think that I played with some people because people know about my resume a little bit, but like, father took me to play on, I'll never forget this gig. I was 13 and I got a chance to sit in with Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Wow.
At 13, I already knew when I was in the audience, it was over. I was not, it was over. I just knew, like, after being in that environment, and I had other environments that were influential before then, but I just knew after that, I'm a musician, bro. Like, there ain't
sure.
Are you kidding me? I just Bob Marley, well, you know, Bob Marley not alive, but like Junior Marvin and like some of the original members were still in the band. Marcia Griffith, like some of the people were still on stage. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I done listened to Bob Marley all my life. From 0 to 13, that's all my father played. I ain't know anything but Bob Marley. He didn't fit djembes and John Bob Marley. We done had travels where all we listened to is Bob Marley, and I'm like, Dad, can we listen to Tupac? I mean, come on, like. But anyhow, fast forward, I got a chance to hit, and from there, at 13, I pretty much made a decision, like, I'm gonna be following Dad's footsteps, because he got to figure it out. Following Mom, you know. So those are some of those encounters. Definitely inspired me to be a musician. You know, I'm very grateful that my parents were advantageous and grew me in an environment to be like a child prodigy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a blessing. As I look back on it, I say thank you to my mom quite a bit more than I've ever have as I've come into maturity and wisdom. And I say thank you to my father on the other side every morning. You know, that's a whole nother conversation. But every morning I acknowledge him, you know, for his work. You know, so that's a short version. It's longer version, but that's a short version.
Ashe. Well, thank you. Yeah, I totally appreciate the things that you've taught my children, your mom as well. My girls from taking your dance class, her dance class, and the culture that's been taught. So yeah, I can't wait to hear more. You're going to get to elaborate much more when we have these questions. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you for allowing me.
All right. Chugging along, chugging along. Now this young lady, I'm loving your setup, so I can't wait to hear more about what you do. So please come on in the conversation and share with us your background, whatever you'd like to share about your work. Without any further ado, Liz Lauren. I hope I said your name right.
That's all right. It's Laren.
It's Liz Laren. I'm gonna get it together.
Well,
sis.
we're all
Liz
getting,
Laren.
we're all getting to know everybody's name, which is so great. This is such an incredible opportunity to connect with you folks. I mean, this is like amazing. This is like a virtual creative explosion that we all get to, meet and hear each other's stories. I feel really, really connected to everybody. And it's so nice to not feel like you're alone, especially after this last year.
Certainly.
Which really launched me in a strange way in this last year, because I too was starting to feel a lot of anxiety and stuff. And I leaned really far into meditation music and yoga music and all this stuff that I'd been, because you have to slow yourself way down and you have to breathe, as you were saying. And then I just let the music start to flow, and I started to create this huge catalog of music. And then the music's coming out. Luckily, May 28th, the first project's coming out, and there's 17 slated. So it's music for Reiki, yoga, meditation, healing, spa. And then the beauty of it is I get to use everything I've learned so far, and then I get to reach out to some really amazing people too and collaborate. So it's music from Asia, from India, from Africa, all these different things.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear
So
it.
in a couple weeks, I'm going to record the flautist from The Lion King. She's been holed up in Wisconsin. I'm going to take my studio there and record all her flutes, and we're going to, create a bunch of music there. She's a really good, solid, peaceful person, wonderful person, and so I've just been really, really lucky that I've just things have happened. When the whole shutdown happened, I started to reach out to people and kind of create like a Zoom virtual creative complex. And the promise was, you can text at any time with your coffee and say, hey, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Can I Zoom with you? Let's talk about, what are you doing? What am I? And we all kept each other going. So it opened up a bunch of doors. And this is the continuation of being able to do that. So this is my studio. Drop in anytime. I'm going to contact you. You can always call me and say, hey, I've got a question, or hey, I want to run something by you. And I might be doing the same with you if that's it, if that's okay, because we're stronger as, a group. And I just really appreciate being able to be a part of this.
Wow, that's awesome. Absolutely. Well, I'm down. I'm in. Count me in, girl.
I can tell. I'm just like, you and I, we're going to be talking.
Yeah, count me in. I can't wait to find out more about how your brain works. I think what the idea that you came up with during the pandemic was quite creative. So you definitely have a creative spirit that I want to find out more about. So when we dig into these questions, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So Mr. Samuel Smith, you made it. You made it, brother. I'm so happy to see you. What's up? How are you? Take it off mute for me so I can hear you. There
Okay.
you go.
Can you hear me?
Your lovely wife. Y'all made it. Hey
Yes.
there. Welcome. We want to hear all about what you do. What is it that you would like to share with us? I can't wait to find out more. So please, welcome. Share with us.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Sheila.
Yes.
I am the non-musician in all of this.
Okay.
I'm a massage therapist. I've been one since 2010.
Nice.
Prior to that, most of my career was spent making other people look really good. I was a wardrobe consultant, personal shopper for Marshall Fields, a designer out of San Francisco. I worked with him. So most of my creativity came from walking through the park, seeing a bird or plant or something of nature that was colorful. I go back to the store, find a tie or shirt or tie, and I would coordinate. And so when you left out, you were my portrait. You were the picture that I created. And so that was my artistry, if you will. But I came from Texas, and most of my folks are old. I've got folks in my family, 100, 114. So alternative medicine was always a part of my life. Grandmother got bit by a black widow spider. Somebody grabbed a can of turpentine, put it over the bite, drew the poison out. So sitting around looking at alternative methods of healing has been in my life since I've been here. I come from a musical family. My mother was a pianist. She used to play, as she told me, she used to play the piano on the kitchen table until my grandparents finally bought her piano. I didn't go that route musically. I've done some singing and what have you, but basically that was my musical history, if you will. As a wardrobe consultant, I noticed that a lot of individuals that I was making look real good didn't necessarily feel real good. And so as the industry began to change and companies began to buy out, for instance, in this case, Marshall Fields, another company came in, all of my clients that I cultivated decided they wanted to go elsewhere because the merchandise wasn't the same. So I wanted to involve myself in something that I could go anywhere in the world and be a part of the community, be a contributing part of the community, and self-actualize some other parts of my being, if you will. So my grandmother had this book that had 2 feet on it with a lot of different lines, and had stomach and heart, and it was a reflexology book. I knew nothing about reflexology, but I did look at the book. So she developed cancer, colon cancer. And I remember one day she was in a lot of pain, and I just started pressing on the bottom of her foot in the different areas that she said she was having pain. And so as I was doing that, and she said, "Boy, that feels good." So I had an immediate reaction to something that I was doing to another human being, just by pressing and rubbing and giving them some immediate relief. Fast forward to when I began to go, I went to massage therapy school. I went there again because I needed a career change, but I wanted to be able to take my talents anywhere in the world where I wanted to go. And at that point, I was looking at Asia and other places in the world to go live. And I said, okay, everybody has a body. So that means I can't always have some work because most bodies develop pain or discomfort. So that took me into massage therapy, if you will. My first day of class, I went in, I could hardly walk. My back had just locked up on me. But they invited me to come to class anyway, get a massage. Couldn't turn that down, so I went. So I'm laying there. My instructor at the time said, "I want you to give me a massage." Now, remind you, I'm on the table. So I managed to get up and I lay hands on him. And I began doing what I observed everybody else doing. He said, "You know what? You have anointed hands. You have special hands." And I found that to be the case as I've gone forward in this process of being a massage therapist. My instructor came by my loft one day and she brought this little bowl. I knew nothing about singing bowls at all. You know, nothing. Gongs, yes. Singing bowls, not so much. So I'm in the back of the loft and she's playing this bowl with my wife. I'm sitting there and I'm looking out the window. And a few hours later, I realized I had been asleep. So I was totally and completely relaxed. I was in a receptive state. I was looking out at water and I just I was out.
Yeah.
So I began to fool around with this little metal bowl. And I finally got enough energy going where I could actually sing it. And so then I said, okay, well, let me see what else I can do. So I began to research singing bowls and their relationship. Okay, is that my signal?
Yeah, you got a few more seconds.
Okay, so basically I play singing bowls. And what I found out in listening, particularly in times like this, I just lost my mom about 3 weeks ago. And I was in a real bad place. I grabbed my bowl and I began to sing it. And I was able to still my self, my consciousness. I was able to block out all of the chatter, all of the things that we can imagine going on. And listening to one note all the way until it's silence, I was able to concentrate and focus on what it was I needed to get me to the next point in that day.
That's awesome. I think with your background and your experience, you're going to bring a lot of good to this conversation, because we're going to be talking about how healing through the arts, through what we do in our own respective ways, because a lot of people think that you have to be a massage therapist or a Reiki healer or, some other type of metaphysical healer in order to bring healing. But everything that you all do out in the world, the joy that you bring, the smile on people's faces, the excitement, the laughter, all of those things are healing, right? Yeah. So I want to kind of turn the conversation in a slightly different direction. I've already forwarded you the questions, so you have a little bit of an idea of where we go with them. Yes, Mama Sheila.
Yeah, could you introduce your wife?
I was about to when she timed me out. This is my wife. This is my wife, Edwana. And
Hi. Well, I'm Edwana. Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. So many things I have similar to him, and then we're polar opposites with so many similarities.
Oh, nice.
And I've taught in the classroom and in the dance classroom for years. Sweet. One of the things that's so important to me is, having been a child, I understood some of the things I walked through. And I've worked in urban schools. I understand adverse childhood trauma experiences. And I utilized the gongs and the singing bowls in the classroom. And I had so many great successes in integrating, managing behaviors, and opening up children to learning in areas they thought they couldn't learn in, simply through frequency, because sound heals. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to connect and just bring peace. So I was looking for an opportunity to just simply share that in this setting today.
Nice. Well, you're definitely welcomed, and I'm so glad that that you had an opportunity to share that, because you are needed at this part of the conversation, because that was actually the question I was about to ask next. Each one of you in your own respective fields, in your own respective backgrounds, let's get to, because I'm all about the babies. I'm really about children and the youth and how we're affecting this next generation, right? So in each one of your respective areas, just give me one idea, just an idea that you have. And let's say in an ideal world where you're going to be able to share this idea and it actually gets picked up and actually gets used, okay? That's the world we're going to be in when we ask this question. But give me one idea of what it is that you do that you can see really having an impact on children in education. What is it that a school can incorporate that maybe you've noticed in your own work that you would love to see happening on a regular basis in schools where our children are affected the most? And keep in mind that we're online now, most of them. So how is it, or what is it, that one thing that you have already in your work that you think that should be, repeated in schools on a regular basis? Liz, I'll go with you.
As a sound therapist, I've had, when people come to me and I kind of read maybe what they need, some of them have been mothers, and they'll say, I get my kids, I pick up my kids from school, and they are going, and I can't slow them down. And then I get them home, they're just going. So I've said, well, let's experiment with this music. So mom will have music in the car when the kids, and we've been experimenting with that. And it's really, really works to have calming music when kids come out of school and they're making that transition to the home, to kind of allow them to slow down. And of course, teaching meditation and breathing when kids are anxious, start to breathe. And we've seen children doing that. But I would like to incorporate music not only in that situation, but also into the architecture of buildings. When you look at a building and you go in and analyze the sound in that classroom or the sound in those halls can be very, really have an adverse effect on children's psyche. So addressing the sound within the architecture of buildings where children are so that they can have a more peaceful experience.
Very good point. I do agree. I am a teacher. I've taught for many years, and the music gives signals, as well as a mom too. The music gives signals to them, so it's very important. I like that point that you made. And also when it comes to the noise or the sounds that are around them, when you're dealing with ADHD or children with, certain special needs, the sounds around them have a huge effect. And I think, so one day I'm sure that maybe you can speak on that as far as the drum. How does the drum affect the students in class? What is it that the schools could do better when it comes to what you offer?
Oh, wow. Thank you for the opportunity to answer. I want to say that many moons ago, I worked at a phenomenal school called the Aisha Shule, the preparatory school. Peace be upon the spirit of Mommy Monty Humphrey. Because they did phenomenal work. Shout out to Bob Malik, because he's still doing the work. And everybody I haven't mentioned, because there's so many great people in that legacy. Mommy Monty gave me a phenomenal challenge many moons ago when I was an instructor there, a young instructor. And I'm very grateful to her because she's one of the people I know in this life whose word was her bond. And when my father made her transition, she gave me an opportunity to teach at the school to follow in his work, as well as my mom. So she asked me to create a curriculum for African drumming. And I was not interested. I was just like, I just teach them how to drum. What more did it, how much more do I need to expound upon in that? And we had a nice conversation as my CEO, what's expected, as an instructor and what I must. Right. But I say that to say that gave birth to a curriculum that I'm actually rewriting that involves STEAM, right? Science, technology, English, mathematics.
Okay.
The djembe as a modality teaches all that and more, right? And more.
Mathematics is in there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Division of time,
frequency, physics.
We probably need to add some more letters to it, right? It might be STEAM and some other letters added to that equation. But what I found that I'll just speak on one component that I noticed that I was able to really observe. Math. Any musician could tell you that. Any drummer could tell you that. Whether you read music or not, you got to be able to count. And at least you got to be able to groove. So, I mean, in my class, you have to count. You got to know, you got to know half notes, whole notes, single notes, 60 notes, 30-second rolls. You need to know that, but you also need to know how to feel, right? So you develop some very empathic skills. That's why I'm saying beyond math. I mean, I can show the students, we have some rhythms that are in 2/4, that are in 6/8, that are in 4/4, 12/8 and so on, 5/9 and 12/8 at the same time. We have rhythms that are multiple rhythms playing at once. And so when I'm beginning how to play the rhythms, I get deep into the quintessential of how to count them, the prep beat, So we get into the math, and I do have students who did take an interest in math a lot more.
Good.
Afterwards, because they realized that in Baba Sawani's class, you needed to learn how to count from 1 to 10 minimum. And I share with them, that's how it's done. Time's out.
Nice.
That's great.
I have to keep this time because y'all are passionate about what y'all do, and y'all can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. So I love it.
No, it's all good.
I love it. And I'm really glad that you have an opportunity to share a new curriculum in the schools too. That's really important. So thank you. So would anyone else like to answer the question? Yes, Mr. Samuel, what do you have to share?
I would like to see bowls in every classroom.
Ooh,
I'd like to have, if there were a way to have all of the children's auras
yes.
read, and each one of them received a bowl that corresponds to their aura, and have them all play at one time.
Wow.
In fact, I'd like to see that in every household.
Man, I'd like to see that anywhere.
I'll say this quickly. I was substituting in a dental class, and I was a massage therapist. So I took some of our music in there that had singing bowls and gongs, and I played it softly in the background. Now, these basically were all women, so they were all in there chatting and chattering. And all of a sudden, someone asked me, "What is that sound that you're playing?" So I told them what it was. And each one of them said, I haven't really worked with this much concentration since I've been here. I said, well, why don't you try taking it home and playing it very quietly, and don't say anything to anybody. Just put it on and watch how your home re-energizes itself. The other thing that the brother just said, to be able to feel the vibration in your hand, actually be able to feel your consciousness flowing back and forth from the bowl, to give kids that kind of experience, I think we'd have a whole different kind of mindset and environment in the classroom. That's what I'd like to see.
Absolutely. Woo, you went there, boy. You went there.
What you said really briefly.
Yes, of course.
So thankfully I was able to use the singing bowls and the tabletop gong in the classroom, and I made it a center. I've worked with in integrated classrooms. I've worked with autistic children, and I know that those children that may have had behavioral problems were able to become really focused and self-regulate based on utilizing it. And I saw scores go up. I mean, administrators were like, what are you doing? And they were all invited in. I didn't have to use, a lot of times I didn't have an instructional aid, but I always went in teaching that I can't make you do anything. However, you can make some choices. And based on that, they were able to self-regulate. People came out of shells, brains opened up and were more receptive, and behaviors shifted. So I'd love to see it in the classroom as well. I made it a center. And there were students, that would, before they checked in with their classroom, they checked in with mine. That was what the intent was, but it was available. And certainly something that was needed.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I've had similar experiences as well with meditation. So I know I share with you the sentiment about if we have a center or a centralized space for them to come, they'll make the choice to come.
Yes.
It's not like we have to force them to do it.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing that. Sheila, did you want to say something? Hey, Uncle Phil.
Hi, Makita. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Everybody. Well, there's Butter and Sawande. Man, Liz.
Everybody up
in here.
What's happened?
And that's Ray. You've seen him and his wife.
Oh, yeah, I was listening.
Oh, yeah.
Kenny Green told me to tell you hello, man.
I was all plugged in, so I've been listening.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
That's so cool.
I'm lurking.
So my question, I wanted to ask Liz, when you said building architect and music, I'm wondering, are you speaking, how does building architect, is that different than just coming in, going in there and what kind of music are they going to play in there?
Right.
What do you mean by building architect? Is it with the structure?
Yep, the structure, and also you would probably agree that
the feng shui kind of thing.
Well, also the speakers. The speakers have to have the low frequency because the low frequency is really, really felt. So the speaker system and where the room is not, it doesn't have a lot of
density to it.
if you go in and analyze a room, like you go in, you know, whenever you build a studio, there's somebody who goes in and they analyze the room. So they start with a tone and then they measure what's going on in corners and everything. And you can sort of start to deaden the room a little bit so that there's not a lot of extra things bouncing off. And you can kind of control the sound a little bit. But, you know, imagine walking into a building, let's say people, and I've talked to architects about this and they're sort of working in this. You're building a building. What do people feel when they walk in the lobby? What do you want them to feel? You know, do you want them to feel calm? Do you want them to feel nature sounds? So it's kind of twofold, well, kind of threefold also, because the music itself has to have the certain tones that are considered, in neuroscience, they've been doing all these studies to say, you know, when these sounds happen, this part of the brain gets kind of calm, and this part of the brain can function a little bit better, which someone else mentioned, I think Ray mentioned the idea of focus music, and this project that's coming out May 28th is called Arcello Focus. So it's really about being able, and I use it all the time because I'm sitting there and I've got 8 hours of work to do, and I think, I've got laundry to do. Oh, I better water these plants. You know, it's like, hey, you need to sit down and work. And I put this music on, and 8 hours later, my work's done. It's like, man, this stuff works. So, you know, with the ADD brain, overactive brain, possibly, your brain gets to chew on that and play with that, and the other part of your brain gets calm and is able to, focus. So, yeah, neuroscience has been just amazing and finally kind of proving what a lot of us musicians already kind of know,
Right.
Because we've been doing it. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Uncle Phil, you got something to say?
Yeah, I'm just
okay.
listen to the whole thing because I look up, I see drummers, and I know anytime you start talking about the spirit in music, drums have a certain thing inside there. But my brother's got the singing bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All those sounds, man, can really make an impact on what you feel yourself, what you feel in the course of your day, and how you're running your own energy, and not letting other things affect you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we disappeared here. Hold on. There we go. All right. So telephone, that's a whole nother sound.
Yeah.
Ding the bell.
Right.
Ring the bell. But yeah, I do love the discussion that you're having in terms of the different sounds and how they affect you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be good if people did have a regimen of sound, like a sound regimen, where they some days you just make sure you get that drum, you get that groove thing going, right? Mm-hmm. And that way you're not letting the outside forces come in and affect you and ruin your day, so to speak.
Right. Because they will try. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And I think that that's possibly the future. I'm kind of betting, hopefully, that's what's going to happen. That we're going to take control of the sound that's happening around us. And first of all, we'll take control of it in our homes, and we're going to do things like regulating sounds that are happening that are really uncomfortable in our environment, and then the architecture. I'm hoping that is the future, where we get those, those vitamins and minerals in sound, the healthy sound.
And that kind of takes me to the next question, which, is what are some things that we know that we're impacting other people, but what are some things that we know to do? What are some things that you do as an individual for your own healing to get in the zone, really? Like beyond healing, how is it, Butter, for instance, I'd like you to answer this. What is it that you do that helps you to get in the zone so that you can, be one with the drum and really connect in a spiritual way with your drum? What are some things that you do that either helps you with your healing, helps you get in the zone, something that takes you a little bit higher, to a higher frequency with your work?
Oftentimes, before I learned at a very young age that how to meditate, and then play.
Okay.
One of the advantages of being in drum corps is that you're around a lot of different educators. Like I had people that were our instructors. They dealt with meditation. They were like drum instructors from all these different universities across, around the United States. And so they exposed me to meditation, thinking about the water, thinking about what you hear, the ocean, and bringing that all in, right? And so even down to this day, I ride in silence when I'm going to the gig. Like, I don't listen to music. I'm usually in silence in my own thoughts. I will beat on the steering wheel as I'm riding down the street, kind of warming up my hands, because I never want to go in cold. So I want to be as relaxed and as free as possible, right? So I have my whole little warm up regiment that I do. And if I'm at a gig, you'll see me off to the corner, kind of by myself, looking like a weirdo or a loner or something. But that's my thing, because that's what I like. That's what helps me get my mind wrapped around what I'm about to do. Mm-hmm. And then I found that when I wear sunglasses, I don't focus on the people as much. I'm more internal.
That's why y'all wear sunglasses when you drum. Okay.
So it helps. So it helps me not get caught up on what I see. If you're in a club, there's people walking by, they got drinks, whatever. And I have found myself oftentimes even watching TV. I'll be playing and I'm literally watching TV. But I found when I put glasses on that something happens to my mind or something with me personally where I become internal. Mm-hmm. And I'm able to just kind of sink into what I'm doing. Yeah. And not so much worry about what's going on around me. I'm more internal at that point. I like so that's what helps me. That's what I do.
That's something that, that's a major thing. I think because I think meditation is it's absolutely the core of anything that happens in music. The most important sound in music is silence. Yeah. And if that silence is there to run all the rest of what you're doing as a musician, then you're more receptive to what you hear. You're responding rather than reacting. You are more creative rather than being run by what's going on around you. And I used to do the same thing. I used to wear dark glasses all the time. Now, if I take my glasses off, I can't see, and I need to read sometime. I need to read my patches on my keyboard and all that. So I would have to get some prescription sunglasses. But in doing that, what I was really doing, I was trying to keep people from distracting me. I don't want to get caught by people's eye, people looking at you and like that. If I need to close my eyes, I don't need them to know whether my eyes are open or closed. I want to be able to do it on my own because I can hear myself better and I can link with the musicians on stage better. That's really what I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true. So true. So let me ask you this. What impact, okay, so we're in 2021, ladies and gentlemen. By 2024, 2025, 2030, as we move forward, what impact do you want your work to have on your audience? What impact or how is it serving you? What is it that you want to see your particular work do in the future for the greater humanity? Liz, why don't you take the first shot at it?
Okay, I'll keep this really brief. I have put together 17 different identities. Mm-hmm. And I've hooked up with this label in Nashville, and they're like, cool. So I get to do the album covers, the artwork, the videos, the music, and just deliver them. And their thing has been make them all different. Mm-hmm. Well, isn't that the greatest wonderful challenge? Is it creative freedom? Yeah, man.
Right.
So that's definitely, being able to explore all the different parts, all the different healing styles of music, old and new. I'm working with drones. I'm working with ambient music, and then studying the people that have done it. So yeah.
So okay. taking your vision a little, just a step further.
Oh yes.
Where's the ideal audience, or where's the ideal place where you would want to see these creations, evolve?
Well, it's so fun because it's coming out on Pandora the 21st. That's the first.
Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out, and then they're just going to keep shooting these to streaming because they said, and the reason we found, well, a friend of mine put us in touch, bless his heart. They said one of the biggest requests on streaming is sleep music. So everybody was having problems sleeping, So sleep music, and people say, something calming, something relaxing, yoga. So these were the top searches.
Oh, great.
For music, and also silent. I mean, not silent. Nature sounds. People wanted to listen to birds and water and things like that. So I just think that giving people access to these, I found it tough to find a lot of this music at times. So, making it accessible to people, I think is what I really, really want to see, where, you know what to ask for and how to regulate your own emotions, like, I'm not sure if anybody sleeps to waves or anything like that. I'm not sure if anybody does that, but
I do sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Like, I'm like, turn on that rain, and
firecracker, fireplace.
Right. Yeah. And so I'm just really hopeful. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this music being able to be found, and for people to know what to ask for, not just the latest pop music.
Yeah.
Which is great too, but
Yeah.
So, Mr. Samuel, what do you think? Where do you want your work to impact moving forward in the future with the bowls and with the massage and with, collaborating with your wife? What are some things that you want to use your work to impact yourself and the greater community?
Well, I want to just say something about the eyes, wearing the sunglasses. When I'm doing massages, I usually do massages with my eyes closed because I can follow the frequencies in the body better. It seems like your body lights up for me to follow. So when I think about what I'd like to do with these bowls, again, I think every household should have at least a bowl, if not a set of them. Because just like we were talking, if you were to strike a metal bowl, the lowest frequency that's on the low end, and you listen to it into silence, you will be able to focus. You will be able to relax. All of that mind chatter, all those conversations that you have going on when you're trying to martial artists, after a while, you get to that point where you become one with whatever it is you're doing. But the people on the street, with everything that's going on, folks are dying, folks are sick, folks don't know how they're going to go across town, if they're going to eat. How do you take control over that part of you to where you can actually hear what the spirit has to tell you, where your remedy is? So if you can take a bowl, if you got one big enough that you can even put it on your head and strike it and just listen to the vibration, listen to the sound until you hear nothing, and concentrate on just that, you'll be amazed at how relaxed you are and how receptive you are to what the universe has to say to you. My wife also creates jewelry to be able to take crystals, the different semi-precious stones you use that are all energized, to take those bowls again and energize the jewelry. So now you're also wearing frequencies that you can energize. So to be able to energize yourself whenever you need to have that vehicle to use, I think is what I'd like to see. And I've often basically what does it feel like to be a musician and to have that moment where you're just out of yourself? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And for everybody to have that experience at their level, to where they can actually be calm enough, relaxed enough, and conscious enough in their spirit to be able to have that kind of experience in their life. And you can do that with these bowls.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'd like to see.
Awesome. Miss Smith, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, thank you. I would agree. And not just in a particular school setting, for a lifestyle. I have students that come back that have gotten a little bit older and they've shared the positive impacts. And people don't realize how so deeply children are impacted by adverse childhood experiences. So for a child to really get it at their earliest possible opportunity and to utilize it in their development as they reach maturity, and it has become a lifestyle, would be my wish and my desire for the community and humanity at large.
Beautiful. Touche, I do agree. That was beautiful. And Mr. Zawande, how do you want your work to impact the future? What do you see happening as you use your work for the future?
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to answer again. So I've started dedicated my home as a sanctuary to the African drum. So it's called the Djembe House. And I also have started a nonprofit called the Kingston Education Institute in honor of my father's work. So what I hope to do, I'm 37. My father lived to be 45. I pray that the divine will allow me to live a long life and further his work, right? So one of the things that we do specifically, we do teach people how to play the instrument, and all of the work that I've heard so far, everyone has mentioned, is heavily woven into the drum. So you have meditation inside the drum. You have wisdom teaching inside of the drum. You have healing music inside of the djembe. Oh, the list goes on and on, but I would just love to take my mother and father's work higher. I definitely have had time to reflect during COVID on how powerful the work was that my father did. And even some of the work that I've continued in the last 16 years since he's made his transition, that the drum definitely has an effect on people's well-being. You probably can speak on your children, and have other students who have come by and like, yo, Baba Swande, man, remember way back when we did a gig, X, Y, and Z? Man, it was way deeper than, on the surface, it was us drumming, but it was way deeper in the gig. And I appreciate you for sharing that with me. I appreciate some of the compliments that I've heard from mothers and fathers that their child playing the djembe gave them a sense of identity, coupled with growth in their own individual selves, whether it was mathematically, whether it's in the way that they felt about themselves, whether it was the fact that they played with other kids who were not playing basketball. No shade to basketball, by the way. But they were playing basketball. I don't want, LeBron, shouts out to basketball, Michael Jordan. I'm not saying anything of that, but I'm just saying the fact that their babies did play djembe, the parents may have noticed the difference in the child playing djembe or doing African dance versus them, playing basketball or doing other activities where we may not be deep into the modality of the healing art, of what it does, the constructiveness of what it does. I'm sure we can learn from all things, but I've had different comments over the years. So I would love to see that expound in 10 years, djembe in everybody's household.
Yay!
Yeah.
Singing bowls, meditating.
Yeah, like these are the new modalities.
I can only imagine the spirit that's in those drums. I'm just listening to my wife dances the African dance and just look at the drummers. That's what I mean when I say by not being a traditional musician, just to imagine. And that's the other thing about singing bowls, to clear your ability to imagine, but just to imagine that place that you're in, that you go to, and there's nothing else there but you and the universe, and you're playing. That's something that I can only imagine. But again, I have that opportunity because now I have my instrument, which is singing bowls. Yeah. And I do that. I hug them whenever I see them. I just pick them up and hug them because they are my family.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So in the spirit of yes, I'm sorry.
This is Pam. There is a question in the chat. Just let me know when I can read it to you.
Okay.
Or you can read it if you could see it in the chat.
Okay, I know music. When you are creating meditative music, how many beats per minute do you use in a song? Who'd like to answer that? Liz? Okay.
Between 60 and 80 beats per minute.
Okay. You got your answer, Miss Mama Pam?
Why that? Why the 60 to 80? What is it? What difference does that make?
What is the significance?
Yes.
There's this thing in music theory and about when you walk into somebody's room and they're not well, and you align your breath with theirs, and you slow your breath down, and you slow yourself down, and you are slowing them down, you are lining up with them. And I always forget the word. It's a word in music theory, and I always forget it. I mean music therapy. And so basically with the music and with the groove, you're getting people to sort of slow down a little bit. So you're slowing it further than you would in your daily activity. It's something a little bit slower. So between 60 and 80 is you can start to kind of have the drones kind of put you in a trance, and grooves can put you in a trance. So now you're kind of going into trance states, and there are things like delta, alpha waves, the different waves, frequencies, and studying all that. And that's just getting into the math, I know, but it's just really the best way to say it is that you're slowing yourself down to help somebody else slow down. So that's why those sort of work, and it has to do with how fast our heart rate is.
Okay. Giselle, she says thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking that.
All right. So did someone else have something to say?
I want to speak about references. I was listening to Buddy was saying he likes to go in silent. I totally understand that. At the same time, I might need more activity for something that I'm going to do. And so I've got all kind of different songs. I've got willful references, as I'll call them. Just around here, just walking around the house and like that. I'm a big fan of Planet Drum. I don't know if you know that recording, Mickey Hart's Planet Drum.
Yep.
Planet Drum, yeah.
Put me on a whole level just to hear how that mix of sounds they got, a little African, a little Brazilian, a little Indian, all these different countries and like that, working together to make sound. And the sound, no keyboards, which is not necessary for me. I listen to a lot of music that doesn't have keyboard in it, but sound on its own, I make a lot of sounds on my own. I make keyboard recordings that don't have pianos and the traditional keyboard instruments in it. I love going outside of the sound of regular keyboard. Years ago, I made a recording called Beyond. It's 10 little meditations, really, is what they are. And it's an hour of chill. As it turned out, it's 60 minutes. So it's perfect. A lot of times if I just want to chill myself out, I'll put something like that on. It'll get me right into the zone I want to be in. I can think about things better, a little bit more clearly. And it puts me in a more spiritual zone to approach whatever's coming up in life. So it's for me, it's all about alignment. So if I need to be at a certain energy level, I need to know what reference I need to have that. If I need to listen to Bitches Brew to go to a gig, I will absolutely do it.
Right.
One of my favorites, boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm the same way. I have to pick. I have to choose it depending on where I'm at in my headspace and my emotions. Sometimes, it might go over on this side. Sometimes it might go over on that side.
Right, but that's me being in control, not letting the situation control me.
There it is. That's right. That's right. This has been an amazing conversation. How's everybody feeling so far?
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're a little more than halfway through the process. We got a little bit more to go, but I'm so glad the flow of everything. I feel like everyone is really giving of themselves. I'm loving the answers and the energy. And so we're just going to keep this thing right on rolling. All right. Now, I know some of you, like Butter, you don't have your drums in front of you, I'm sure. But we're going to move into the segment where I give everyone an opportunity to share what it is that they do. And if you don't have it, it's okay. Why don't you share with us your greatest inspiration? All right. So if you want to share your music or you want to share your art form, I would love to hear the singing bowls or the drums or whatever you have to share. But if not, that's okay. Share with us your greatest inspiration. What is your greatest inspiration? Now, Swande, you've already mentioned your parents. What else is there that really inspires you to be the artist that you are? And if you have your drum available, I'm not sure, I can't really see, but if you happen to have it lying around, I would love to hear it. Yeah.
He has his knees.
Knees.
He has a rock.
Give him a steering wheel.
I would love to
Steering
hear
wheel. We're right.
I'd love to hear Butter Hawkins play because I know he can play some drums really good too.
I have his drum set in front of him.
See, okay, so what had happened was, right?
Go in the house and get your drums.
Yeah,
come back out.
Get it.
I am literally in the midst of repairing my drum and about 5 other drums right now. Yeah, like, so what I can do, I'll tell you what I'll do though. Because it's just a drummer thing. This may be a djembe thing. This also could be a shared drummer thing. There's my drum and then there's other people's drum, but I like to play my drum.
Yeah.
Right. So none of my drums are ready because all of them have broken because the weather is changing. We're in a different season, and they're like flowers. They're very delicate. They live a life, and they translate into the next life. You know, they're very delicate. So I'm gonna grab the drum though. My father's drum. Is drum in the house. I still have broke. Every other drum is broke. This drum is older than me. So that's the only drum I can play for y'all.
Hey, I'll take it.
The only drum I can play on because it's the only one that's functional. Okay, y'all gotta give me a second. I gotta go get it.
Okay, take your time. Take your time, Butter. You got your drum set in front of you. What? Unmute yourself.
Sorry.
What you say? You don't have your drums in front of you?
No. We didn't talk about my other thing that I do with.
Oh, what's the other thing you do?
The cardio drumming thing that I was doing before COVID came over and made us all scared to be around each other. So cardio drumming.
What's that?
Well, I'm a fitness trainer.
Okay.
By day, yeah, and a drummer by night. Yeah, so anyway, when I had this thing, I was doing these classes, cardio drumming, and it was going pretty good, actually. We were on the verge of trying to get it patented and all this other kind of stuff and the legalities of it. And then obviously COVID came and there you have it. And so, but I do have my bucket and ball. Chicka, 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 chicka.
Okay.
We use for the class.
Yeah,
you can see it there. That's good. All right, cool. All right, so what I would do is we would have these drumsticks, right? Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Some music playing because that's what class is. Class consisted of obviously some very loud. I like soca music for exercising, cardio, right? You know, upbeat soca music. So we would do it to soca music, and like we would start out here, right? You got the drumsticks or whatever, and then we would do little stuff that you would have to do, you know, trying to get the heart rate up. It could be squats, you know what I mean?
Hey.
Jumping jacks, right?
That's great. Wow.
So
sign me up.
Right, sign me up.
I wanna do that.
The class is about 45 minutes long with 30 minutes dedicated to the actual cardio drumming and 15 minutes of ab work.
Butter,
and, we just had a good time.
Cool.
That's cool.
It was a fun way to exercise. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
it looks
incredible.
like it. It looks
yeah,
like
so that's my that was my piece. Yeah. So.
That's cool.
I would love to take a class like that.
When are you starting back, Butter?
I'm not sure. Because we don't know what's going on, we still kind of scared to be around each other. So until people are no longer afraid to be around each other, I'm just not gonna have class. So whenever that time is, I don't know. I guess the universe will dictate that for me.
the weather's breaking, so you know, maybe we can meet up at a park. You know, you got 4 students right here. Like I'm in,
Right.
Liz is in,
Hey, that sounds like a plan.
Michelle is in. So tell us where to show up. I'm there.
Hey, I'll see you guys Saturday then, huh?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. Why not?
Okay.
Now, do you provide the ball, the drum, or the
Now,
ball?
technically, like I would bring the ball and the bucket and stuff and all that kind of stuff out for more corporate kind of things, right? Usually, if I was doing something on a smaller scale, like meeting people at a park or something like that, I would have folding chairs for that. You're pretty much doing the same type of exercise. Obviously, it doesn't look as appealing, but it's the same work, and I don't have to get there 2 hours before everyone and blow up balls.
Yeah, that helps. You'd be
Let me
tough.
ask you, man, were you working with Dina Raptis on this?
No,
Okay. Did you ever work with her?
no,
Okay, just checking.
no.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't even know who she was until after I started doing this.
Okay, so you do know who she is, though.
Yeah, because
Okay.
when I started doing cardio drumming, then somehow somebody said something about her, and I was like, "Oh, we're kind of doing the same thing." Yeah. So.
Okay, all right, just curious.
Lots to do there.
Up.
That's cool.
Oh, and by the way, I am a certified a Zumba teacher as well. So some of my Zumba stuff we actually incorporate in the cardio drumming. Yeah, multiple me. I did say
I
that.
was gonna say you just do everything.
Right. That's what's up.
That is.
Miss Liz, thank you so much for sharing that, Butter. I can't wait to take the class. We're gonna meet at the park. Don't you worry.
Gonna do it.
All
Yep.
right, there it is.
Happen. Liz, what do you have over there in that studio for us? Share with us your work.
Well, I don't have anything kind of fired up because I've got Zoom on, so that kind of doesn't allow me to do anything. But I have a whole bunch of the new stuff at Liz Laren 1 at bandcamp.com.
Liz Laren 1 at Bandcamp.
Yep. And that's our cello stuff. And I think I have there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube also, and it's all under the name Arcello. So there's a whole playlist about meditation music and that type of stuff. So yeah. And the weird thing is that we're in the transition of I'm like handing the baton over to this label, and now they're claiming it, and and they said I can't claim it until it comes out again. So I mean, until they put it out, then I can link to it. And it's a kind of complicated story. I'm sorry there, but
no worries.
But it's kind of in limbo until the May 28th when it comes out.
Okay.
But it's going to be on Pandora May 21st.
Nice. That's in a couple days.
Yeah, a couple days.
Perfect.
I've
so
got
that's okay. So
yeah.
Give us your greatest inspiration then. Who or what has been your greatest inspiration?
Well, I heard an album by Peter Gabriel called Music and Rhythm, and we were over in England and got turned on to this record that didn't really go anywhere because it was Peter Gabriel's first attempt of pulling all these cultures together to do a concert. Mm-hmm. Well, he flew all these people in, and there were problems with language. They couldn't communicate. It was too many, and everybody flew home. But they recorded some of it, and the album comes out. It's a double album, and it goes from one part of the world. It'll do an indigenous piece of music, like a folk piece of music. Then it'll take a modern composer or artist incorporating that, and then it moves on to the next one, and they do something culturally, indigenous. Then another modern composer or artist, and it goes across the country, and the world, and you just get this complete sense of how connected all this music is and what influenced what. And that got me on the track of being a musicologist and saying, I just want to study all this to understand what the instruments are, what is the story behind them, and so that I could work with them with respect and honor. So yeah, it's a double album called Music and Rhythm, and it's Peter Gabriel's first attempt at doing his world music label, which he lost a lot of money, but then he went and made it up later when he launched it properly. But it's a great album. It's a great album. But yeah, That would be
What's his name again?
Peter Gabriel.
It's
Peter
Peter Gabriel,
Gabriel.
music and rhythm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sawande.
Oh, there you are.
Looks like you're all set up. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you did it for me because it was special request, honey. I had to hear it, honey. Whenever I see him anywhere, I'm always the loudest one cheering like a groupie. Like I just
Oh, you're not a groupie.
Huh?
Don't say that. I appreciate it though.
I do be cheering like a groupie. I'm like, Sawande's your loud.
I really do. That's
All right,
I really do.
Sawande, you ready?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to I broke my light thing. You know the thing that you put the camera in so you can drum?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't live a long life.
Oh, no worries. So these are daddy's drums, right?
Yeah, so this one right here,
wow.
This one's about 45 years old plus.
Wow.
This roping system, when I talk about my father's work, he was one of the first people to teach this with an honorable teacher. His name was Chief Hawthorne Bay. My father and 10 other people were the first people to learn this system. This system went around the world. So this is the first roping system that was created, one of the first roping systems that was created in America for the djembe. So my father and 10 other people were extremely pivotal in teaching the entire planet. That's why I say his work, like when I think about it, like I didn't really understand my father's greatness at 8 and 10, 14. This is my father, you know, but I know 3 roping systems myself. And so they were all started with this one system, right? So shouts out to them people who did that work way back when. So this is a pretty old drum.
Beautiful.
This one, so this is the mother drum. My father, okay, I had another teacher, Michelle Mendy, phenomenal. Ibaye, you know, we pay homage. He's no longer here as well. He left me this drum about 10 years ago. It has a very interesting story. He went to synagogue, never got it back. Never came back to get it. But right, wow. But he showed me how to rope drums too, in a way, and very different from my father. A whole nother system, like 3 other systems. You know, I learned from him. He showed me a lot about fist and drums that I didn't with my father's absence. He was a colleague of my father, and he showed me a lot. You know, a lot. I can't even begin. But he left me this drum, right? So they're all, you know, every drum have a story. Yeah. But this is the male, and this is the female. So normally they're played together, but we don't have all the people. So I'm going to just play them together. So sorry, sound check. Hold on. 2 seconds here.
Sound check.
There you go. There you go. That's the right side. All right, you ready?
Good.
Yes.
Real brief. Hold on. Yeah. All right, can you guys hear that? Okay. Okay, I think that's all we're gonna get. The phone's not gonna stand still that much longer. Okay.
That's great. Oh my God.
I knew it wasn't gonna go that much longer. I gave you 10 seconds or more because the phone was about to fall apart.
Oh, that's okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that.
So one day before you disappear, so one day.
I'm here. What's up? I'm here about what you got.
Tell me, I had a long time ago, I played with this brother from Cameroon, and it was with a couple of the local guys, Modibo. You remember Modibo?
Oh yeah.
And the drummer
definitely.
James Brown. And
wow.
this guy, he was, he's, how people in Africa, they seem like they're always so musical and just things just kind of come out of them. And so they were trying to play these beats, they're trying to play these African beats. And he would always go back over and say, no, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Oh, yeah.
You're counting. You're busy counting. And you're not going to get it right. And he would go over and he'd show all of us with the Western 1, 2, 3, 4 that we're doing these rhythms wrong. Could you tell me a little bit about how you look at that? Because you're from here, and I knew your father well too. Tell me a little bit about that non-counting, how you just get yourself and get somebody who's stuck with Western rhythm to release that and get to the other side.
Baba, that is a great question. So I would always encourage people to come to my drum class on Thursday here in the city. I teach a beginner class on how to play the djembe. Very beginner, and we work from anywhere from beginner to advanced rhythms in our beginner class. So to expound on what you were saying, I'm gonna try my best to simplify it as much as possible because it is a very complex question. But in terms of timing, the African one and the American one are very different, right? And also they are very similar. So I want to give credit to our ancestors who created the genres of music that we have in this country, unfortunately through our pain and sorrow, right? So we have, giving credit to gospel, which would give birth to all of the genres, right? And respect, like gospel literally gave birth to jazz, literally gave birth to hip hop, literally gave birth to, right, the genres that we call country and so forth, techno. That was the first modality that we were allowed to learn to play, to express ourselves in this country. But if we just want to go back, 1619, we dropped off here. So let's go 1617. All right. Let's even go back to the 1500s, right? The way when we're talking about African rhythm, we'll use common time, 4/4, for example, right? Over here it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or for example, I just use hip hop for example.
We don't hear you.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me stop talking. You guys don't hear me. I'm sorry. I be forgetting Zoom.
Now we can when you come forth and talk.
Let me just use my hand motion a little bit more because I know the sound be kind of crazy on here. But 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Emphasis on 1 and 3. And then, you can have like the Motown sound, you can have the hip hop, you can have like even the jazz fusion when we don't have so much account. It's more empathetic than it is the count. So with traditional rhythms, their emphasis is not necessarily on the 1, right? Their emphasis can be on the end or the end of 1, right? Easily. And the way we count it over here is 1, right? One of my teachers said to me, because I've learned from learning djembe from the Western side, or learning things over here. We have some of the complexities too. When I've learned rhythms that I was taught here, and then I meet other masters who are masters in their own rights for where the rhythm comes from. So like they're the master of the rhythm, if that makes sense, because their nation or tribe gave birth to that rhythm. So they play it the best, if that makes sense. And so the modality of how they look at the rhythm is very different. So they look at, like, I found a lot of their stuff is on the N1. It's always on the pickup. Always. Also, their focus is not so much the number, if that makes sense. It's more the rhythm. Yeah. So there is a way to count it. Like if you know traditional rhythms like myself, there is a way to count it in the Western way for the ear to understand. But it's more about the heart, right? The more deeper you are connected here, the more you can be connected to the rhythm. But like I said, if you come to my class, I can explain. Like right now, I'm teaching a rhythm this in 4/4 this emphasis on 1 and 3. It's called cuckoo. Cuckoo is a very it's a very easy to rhythm learn, and the emphasis is on 1 and 3, and it sounds like a lot of the music that we have here is just rhythmic. But like if we were to play Dunumba, which is 6/8, or Takuora, or these rhythms get very complex because you have like I want to take numbers out the equation briefly, and I just want to use symbolism. So you guys are familiar with I think it was the Karate Kid where they had the pendulum where it swing back and forth. So our ancestors would go out in nature and they would see these things and they would create the rhythm, if that makes sense. So you can have a rhythm that's in 6/8, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's how we would kind of hear. All right. Theirs can be like I'll play, but I'm gonna sing a block. This is 6/8 rhythm. I'm gonna sing it.
Okay.
That's 6/8 to them, right? And it's not. They don't count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do not count it like that.
Right.
But when I break down, like it's almost damn near in 3/4, but the emphasis is on like the end. So like, or sometimes it's emphasis on the pickup. So I say that to say this. One of my teachers told me, he said, never focus on the one, right? He said, you are the one. I never forgot that lesson.
Wow.
I never forgot that lesson. Like he said, you are the one. And if you're looking for the one, you better look inside first, because that's how you learn how to play these rhythms. Okay. You are the one. The emphasis of the one is, so like they play around the one, they play inside the one, they play on top of the one.
Like, you know what you're talking about?
I mean, like it's crazy. Like I went to drum sessions and I'd be like, that's not the rhythm we played or I learned. And I'd be like, whoa, like y'all playing. If the one is just a symbolism to get started, but they're weaving in and outside of that one. You know, it's just a modality for us to understand, maybe to start the rhythm. You play the break for a lot of our rhythms to start the rhythm. You play the break to end the rhythm. But beyond that, like everything else in between there is as far as I'm concerned, is like the equivalent of like how Miles Davis took the fusion jazz sound and went above and beyond. He went beyond the sound of jazz and just going completely out there. Djembe is very much like that.
I appreciate that, man, because I was just making sure I wasn't going crazy.
No, you're actually very sane, sir.
Yeah.
You're very sane. It's us who djembe players. We're the crazy ones, you know. It's okay.
All right.
Sweet.
Thank you, Sawande.
Yeah.
No problem.
Awesome.
No problem.
Yes, I love it. I love the conversation. And thank you, Uncle Phil, for your questions. I really appreciate that. So we want to make sure we share and spend time with Samuel and Mrs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what is your first name?
Edwana.
Yeah, Edwana.
Edwana. Okay. So I want to make sure that Samuel and Edwana have an opportunity to share their art with us. I'm assuming you're going to do the singing bowls, but you may do something else. I'm not sure. So what is it that you will share with us today? And give us some massage tips. Give us some reflexology tips. What can we do to massage and reflex ourselves?
Okay. I have singing bowls.
Yay!
All right, I'll do that. All right. And gongs. I have a metal singing bowl, and I have 3 crystal singing bowls.
Awesome.
I have G, the chakra, throat chakra, G, I speak. I have F,
okay.
I love. I have C, I trust.
What's frequency is I love?
F.
F, okay.
Your heart.
Okay.
Your heart is F. I trust. That's your root. That's your C. And your throat is your creativity, your self-expression. I speak.
That's G.
This is a metal bowl. It's 14-inch, or excuse me, 12-inch. 7 metals: iron, lead, tin, gold, silver, and it has a very deep. I don't know how well can you hear this.
I can hear it.
Very well.
Ringing.
I can feel it.
Good. That's what I want you to do.
I can feel it.
Wow.
Even through these speakers, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes, I got a healing from it. It was feeling great to me. I loved it. And I didn't realize like how much that gong really, you know, brought a whole nother vibration. I'm used to the chime and certain singing bowls, but that gong has a whole other, brings a whole other vibration.
It denotes everything else that's going on.
Yeah.
There's a pianist here locally. I think Phil probably knows him, Kenny Green.
Yeah.
Visitors.
Yeah.
He's been my inspiration because I didn't really have anybody to teach me the bowls. I just began to pick it up. You know, you go to YouTube. There was one instructor out in California that I did reach out to her. Her name is Ann Martin. And she's got it's called Blissful Bowls. And I got information from her. But Kenny actually inspired me to go ahead and actually get into this. He invited me to play with him and the Visitors down at Charles H. Wright. And we did a 12-minute intro act for a tribute that they were doing. And Charles said he had never heard that kind of expression at Charles H. Wright. So I'm inspired to keep going with this, to master it and to pass it on as I can. But I truly love what it does for me. And one of the things I can say is inspiring is that whenever I have played these, other individuals have walked up to me and said how they felt. One woman was going through a divorce. She said she needed that at the moment that I was there. So that inspires me to keep going and to reach out to people like Miss Laren, just to find out what else is available to me in this. I mean, it's endless. You know, it's endless. And I want to be a part of that endlessness.
Yeah, Kenny is a local alien.
What'd you say, Phil?
Kenny is a local alien.
Oh yes, he is.
It's a
It is.
Is the right name. He's
Yeah.
When I say my friends are mutants, he's definitely one of my friends who are definitely mutant. He is otherworldly, and visitors is the right name for that group.
Yeah. He calls us elegant.
Always inspired me to go beyond. So
yeah.
we've got that thing in common where we like to do stuff that doesn't have regular structure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we flow. We've done. I've been on 3 CDs with him, and we flow.
Okay.
And each time he tells me
something with you guys.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that would be powerful. Wow. Yeah, if y'all did something together,
yeah,
that'd be nice. I would love to hear that.
I would love for all of us to come together.
Sure.
We should do that.
And
we should do that.
Yeah.
Do it, y'all.
That was all these different personalities and modalities. And I'm glad you took, because my question I had written down here, Ray, is that or Samuel, everybody.
Ray is fine. I know where you know me from when you call me Ray.
Hey.
That how did you learn it, and then what did you add? What kind of thing did you add that was unique to you? But then you went right on into that, that you basically had to teach yourself and then just get little nuggets from other people, as well as working with what's his name?
Baba Issa. Who? Yeah, Baba Issa Ibrahim, he drummer. Just sitting down with them and them allowing me to just express myself. I just sat down with the bowls. Once I learned the mechanics of actually how you can strike a bowl or you can sing the bowl. And I mean, you have endless, I mean, just rhythmically, like I was watching a drummer, to actually incorporate drumming with the singing bowls.
Y'all need to work that out. That needs to be a whole thing this summer.
Right.
We'd have to.
If you think about
Life on Earth thing, we used to do Life on Earth, and we had even like the guy had glass stretched across the room. We played a gig over at Union Street. We used to do it weekly, and we had a guy. He had all the glasses, and he would hum across the glasses, and then we had the percussion going on, drums and like that. It was just otherworldly. I'd love to get with all of you, all 3 of these guys. I would see David Brandon out there. What's up, Dave? But Butter and Sawande and you, Ray, that'd be outstanding.
That would be iconic. I need y'all to work on that, please and thank you.
As you say, like
please and thank you.
Yeah. Just to close my eyes and go where it goes, because that's the other thing. I didn't learn an instrument per se, but I do have rhythm and I do have music in me. We all do, and it's the energy that I can feel. That this is something that I was called to do. Out of all the things I was gifted to do, this is the one thing that I know that I can do, and it'll positively affect any and everybody that's around me. And I'm really grateful for that, and I'm really grateful for Kenny for just saying, "Come on, man, just and he told me the other day, he said, man, you played something I never heard before. Now, like you said, Alien, you didn't heard it all."
Oh yeah, right. He's
that's inspiring to me.
Yeah. Edwana, am I saying your name right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are there different, like if a child is autistic and maybe another child is hyper, can they listen to the same thing and get the same effect, or would you have something different for them?
Well, yes and no. And because you will find that things can be so similar. And so one thing would naturally work with the other child, but then depending on that individual, you might hit a frequency or a note that you can tell they are not pleased by. So it's an individual thing. You have to kind of check with them and see, and they'll let you know. They'll let you know if a note or frequency is working with them.
So when you're using it for your classroom, in a classroom setting, is there a general sound that will cause everyone to be at peace?
They're generally so fascinated because they're so musical and attentive. And my last grade was 2nd grade. So I would just take maybe 1 or 2 bowls, something, and generally one that with the peace frequency,
Mhm.
and give them an opportunity to touch and hands-on. And then there were certain periods of the day where we just stopped, and I would just play something that resonated for quiet or study or rest, and then they would actually shut it down. And so that was how we daily was part of the program, part of the routine.
And how was that with the school? Did they embrace that, or did they have a problem with that, or what?
Well, there was at one time a real big push for mindfulness, and I had an integrated classroom. So it really worked for me because it gave me an opportunity to exhale and to kind of focus around the room, but it captured the attention and the intent of all of the students, regardless of their learning style, regardless of where they were as individuals, because we were all working towards self-regulation and being present, understanding mindfulness. That was a part of my routine, and the school was definitely on board. I would bring in sometimes the big gongs and have an opportunity for administration to have a moment of respite and to be centered by those sounds.
Awesome. That's awesome.
You know, Sheila, the thing about it is, you say you got the 7 chakras here, and most folks are walking around with the chakras blocked. So if you can imagine using these bowls and to unblock it, like again, talking about massage, somebody has a migraine headache, I take that bowl, put it on their head and tap it, and just let that vibration emanate through their body. Or you can have them put their feet in a bowl, sit on a bowl, and put a bowl on their head and strike each of those bowls in a time segment. And that vibration, all of a sudden, all those frequencies intercourse with your own, with all the frequencies that you are. And at that point, you can find total and complete relaxation.
And how do you find out what your vibration is? It a number or not a number, a key?
Frequency?
How do you find that out for yourself?
You know what? Liz can probably help you with that one.
Yeah, well, you kind of hit on it too. It kind of takes a reading, first of all, and a couple folks also mentioned, Edwana, you mentioned trauma.
Yeah.
That when you do kind of a reading, you're sensing the body and you're sensing where it hurts. You know, there's certain parts of the body that have been hurt. It's like having a broken bone, and then if you touch it or somebody, you know, there's pain there. So getting something to resonate, as you were saying also, with if somebody's having problems speaking, you use the bowl and the frequency that has to do with the throat area, expression. This has to do, you know, it is definitely frequencies. This is the lower frequency. It's C, D, E, F, G,
B, and A.
Yeah,
A and B, right.
Yeah. And my first project that I did was called Chakra Hymns, and that's going to be coming out also. And it really focused on each chakra. Yeah. So in color too, there's also a color associated with it. So, but getting the body to, there are harmonics that are bouncing off of each other, you know, in a way, and it just loosens everything up. And then the chakras start to flow, because you're supposed to be having this total flow that's going up and out and back around. And
opens your Kundalini.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the
microcosmic orb.
Yep. And it's, you know, connecting up and it's connecting down. And there's sometimes when you're doing this, I'm sure many musicians have had this experience. I was doing chanting, toning, and I was thinking, I'm feeling the trees outside. I don't know. I feel like I'm having a conversation. You know, it's like I'm getting the roots. I'm getting this, you know, like it just opens you up. And then you start feeling empathy. You're feeling compassion. You feel oneness. Yeah. And then you kind of have that moment where you say, you know, I should really call my sister and apologize for what I said the last time I saw her, you know. It's like,
working in your F.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's working. That worked.
It's, again, if I were to take your handpiece and put the bowl in your hand and my hand like that, and just like you have it, and put the bowl there, and I struck it and allowed you to feel all of that going through you. And as she said, If you were having problems with your lower abdomen, I could take the bowl, not a crystal, but a metal bowl, and set it on your stomach with hot water in it, strike it. And now that water and the energy and the frequencies, again, it goes through. I can do it at your feet if you're having female problems or male problems. So these are very therapeutic, as well as, I would say, cosmic. I mean, an older, in this case, it's one of the segments that really is dear to my heart is seniors. I'm 70. So consequently, that's an age when I look at individuals, and I took these bowls into a group and I began to play them. And they had no idea, some of them did, most of them did not, and none of them had any idea of what kind of penetrating effect these sounds could have. So again, like with the babies, those going into the second childhood needed too. So again, It's one of those connecting kinds of things that we all are. We're all frequency and we're all energy.
That's
So
right.
when you integrate all of that, we can have a peaceful world.
That's right.
Okay, so the City of Arts is going to put together with all of you. We're going to start off with meditation. Then we're going to go into all the other things that you guys do, and we're just going to do it for the community. Let's do it outdoors somewhere where we can have the breeze. And tell me what we need so we can make sure we have it all. If we need somebody to blow up all your balls. Butter,
we'll
so
we can
have that. But this is beautiful, and to have that, even as we say, what the city needs. When the city, what was that piece that Queen Afua would say, when you heal. When you it's something, you heal the city. When each of us heal, then you heal the city. Yeah,
it was wellness. Yeah, each one of us individually healing ourselves, healing the city.
Yeah. So each family, each household, but that would be an awesome thing for us to just come together and just go through.
Yeah.
So
that's one way to cure COVID, isn't it? I mean, it's like the walls of Jericho. If we all played our instruments from our heart and from our consciousness.
Oh my God.
As I said, you take a part full of bowls and drums and let it go.
And putting that powerful intention, which everybody kind of hit on, the idea of intention, before you do it, what is it you're putting into it? You got to get yourself right.
Yeah.
And then do it. Because you are a resonating human body. Yeah. Spirit.
Well, I'm totally down with it. So keep me posted, Sheila, because I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
And before we leave, I want to thank each and every one of you for your time and your expertise, for your love, and for everything that you came to share. It's truly a blessing to be here and to be your host. And I thank you so much. Before we go, I'm going to give each one of you 30 seconds to give us your contact. How can people find you? How can people stay in touch with you? How can we keep up, Liz, and find out when that album is dropping? And Sawande, when we know when you're playing again? And Butter, where's that gig going? And Mr. Samuel, where are we gonna find those bowls? Come on, people. Liz, start at the top. Where can we find you really quick?
You can find me at soma-harmonics.com. And you can find me at lizlarenmusic.online.com, but you can call me anytime. I know my number is in some of this, but it's 248-917-8938. I want to keep in touch with everybody. Now that we've shared all this stuff, I feel like, we want to keep this going. Yeah. So those are the two sites.
Put that in the chat.
I will. Okay. I will. Thanks. I will.
And Butter, how can we reach you? Thank you, Liz. Butter, how can we reach you?
The best way here is Facebook. Just Butter Hawkins on Facebook.
Okay.
You can find me there. I don't usually, but if you ask, I'll send you the information for the gigs that I'm playing.
Okay, perfect. All right, and Mr. Samuel?
I am located at 19939 Livernois in a very artistic little shop called Art in Motion. That's on Livernois and Pinehurst, just north of Pine. What is that? New Prospect Baptist Church's annex.
Okay.
I have a studio in there. My number is area code 313-471-8263. I'm also on Facebook, Samuel Ray Smith. And email ienergies@outlook.com.
Perfect. All right. And so one day, where can we find you?
You can call me at 313-492-7327. You can also find me on Facebook as my name is pretty long. Typically people put in African percussionist and then I come up. However, if you put in SOWANDE, there is only one Sawande Keita. Keitas, and there are many Sawandes, but there is only one specifically. Sometimes you see a prefix before my name, which is MAGHAN, Magan Sawande Keita. So there's also only one Magan Sawande Keita. You can, if you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Sawande Keita 2313. And I have what I've been making an effort to do is to go live. Also trying to document more of the work that I do in some capacity. So I have a Thursday class at Yum Village African Restaurant. We talk about them. Shouts out to Godwin. Every Thursday, my nonprofit, we have a class that's for $25. You will feel very masterful, no matter if you are an advanced student or a beginner. You will definitely learn how to play some rhythms very well in that hour before we leave. It's almost like a little miniature boot camp. So feel free to come to my class on Thursday. Especially you, sir, with the healing hands. Everybody should go in our class, but you definitely will benefit. I want to say briefly, my father died of diabetes. I was his caretaker for 3 years. There is not a day that I did not rub his back, sir. So I appreciate the work that you do, because not everybody has the heart or the sympathy to do things like that. But I did learn that my hands were very healing. That's why I teach the drum. So you will find great benefit in my class. So please,
I'll definitely come out. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You too, Butter. Butter too. I need to take some lessons for that man.
Oh, that'd be a nice mix.
Yeah. How do we connect with you?
I'm on Facebook, Makita Taylor. I'm on IG at Peace Makita. And I have a website at peacemakita.com.
Awesome. You guys, thank you so much. I mean,
thank you.
I knew you were the right one.
Thank you, girl.
Great. You were wonderful.
Yes, awesome. And I want to invite you to this evening. We are featuring bass players.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Chuck Bartels, all those guys.
The keyboard players were off the chain last night. Just ridiculous. So tonight
they was wild.
That's a wild group of guys.
So we have Ibrahim,
Ralph Armstrong,
Chuck Bartels,
Marion Hayden,
Chuck Bartels,
right? We usually have it right up here. You're going to join us from 7. Who else did you say?
Carrie Lacey is going to be the monitor.
Lacey's going to do it. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's from 7 to 9 tonight, and then we have some music for an hour after that. So please join us. And thank you so much. All the guests. Amy, you've been hanging with us, girl. One day we're going to have you you did one day. You did show your camera, but thank you for coming. And David, you have been coming and hanging with us. Giselle Guyman and Imari, y'all in there.
Outstanding.
Thank you. And peace and love.
Peace and love.
Thank you all so much.
Talk to you soon.
And thank you, Tylene.
See you all night.
And Pam.
See y'all tonight.
Goodbye. I mean, good night. I mean, good afternoon. Good day.
Good day.
Right.
My Facebook folks are gonna be disappointed, but that's all right.
I'll second.